Here. You gotta be careful, you got cords and stuff all around. Pretty close. And then you go there. This is Michael, everybody.
Michael?
Hello. There's another Michael over there.
Oh, okay. How you doing?
Let me see. Just all you need is just on YouTube, right? How was the ride over? You said once you get one? Probably not. Oh, but I was using what you call it. You could come over here, Michael, if you want. But how you gonna give me the question?
I already got the stuff. I already logged up all of it. I'm gonna download stuff. Got it.
I'm gonna be on 1 second. Oh, it's live now. I think it's I think we worked out technical kinks. Oh, you just sound it? No. Advertise. Yes, oh, and you can hear me too. I clear my throat. That's the delay.
Oh, cool. Your website.
Oh, in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Test one. Test 1, 2. A little nervous about this. I think it's picking up the audio from you. Let me see. Oh, hello. This is not the right one.
You can't type anything anymore.
Why not?
Remove that. There's nothing to remove.
Oh, did you put in www?
No. There's nothing there. Can't type anything anymore. Whatever. This is good enough.
Test 1. Test 1. All right, so I want to thank everybody for, make sure our sound is out. Cool. I want to thank everybody for coming online today for this second installment of these online cooking classes. I'm so excited to have you guys here. Listen, remember, all the recipes are going to be posted. They're already there at DariusCooks.com. So everything we're doing today is going to be posted on DariusCooks.com. Take a little moment, go ahead, tweet everybody, you know what I'm saying? Let everybody know what's going on, that you're tuning in and you're watching Darius Cooks, and we're about to get started, all right? So I love creating really sort of romantic moments, right? Where you get a really great menu together, you can sort of really impress somebody. So I got some recipes that I really hope are gonna knock you off your feet, all right? First things first is I'm gonna do my sweet tea sangria. So it's a play on, on sangria. It's also a play on sweet tea, and it's one of those things that I really enjoy. And not only that, but let me tell you, it's super easy to make, all right? So really simple, I got right here, right? Into this bowl, I'm just gonna drop in tea bags. Now I'm using regular plain tea bags. I'm using regular black tea, the cheap ones that are typically little or nothing at the grocery store. You can certainly use these, right? Or if you are a tea enthusiast, and maybe this is, not your cup of tea, no pun intended, you can certainly switch around and get the kind that works for you, right? All those flavor ones work as well. So check me out. I got a bowl. I'm just going to put water in it, right? I put 5 tea bags and just a little bit of water. I didn't go overboard here because the idea is to really sort of get in here and let the tea seep and do its thing, all right? Now, you can certainly boil the tea if you want to. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to pop it in the microwave, all right? Just for a couple of minutes, about 3 minutes. And what happens is once you let it sit, you get this really good concentration of flavors, and you get something that looks like this. All right, this has had a chance to cool, so it's going to be pretty good. I'm just going to come in here with paper towels, and I want to get the tea bags out of here. I want to squeeze out the love. All right, so what I've got basically right now is I've got a concentrated amount of tea, right? Make sure I don't bust the bags because we don't want that little black stuff floating around. That ain't cool, all right? Now, we got to sweeten this up. This is good, just like this, but we got to get some sugar into the action, all right? So I'm going to drop in some sugar, all right? And again, these recipes are already at DariusCooks.com, so you can follow along there if you want to. All right, so some sugar to sweeten the whole thing up, maybe a little bit more, because this is the sweet tea sangria, and you know how we do, all right? I ain't got to tell you. If it ain't sweet enough, we'll go through the whole pack of sugar to get our sweet tea just right, all right? So I'm going to get a whisk, and really carefully, I want to get in here and try to get this all nice and mixed in, just so the sugar sort of has a chance to dissolve, just like this, right? And again, this reminds me of growing up on the west side of Chicago. I know I say it a whole lot, but, I like Chicago. In fact, I love Chicago. And we make sweet tea all the time. We make sun tea all the time, where you get the milk jug that's no good anymore because all the milk is gone. You put the tea in, you put the tea bags in the water, and you put it out on the back porch. And let the sun just do its thing. And the sun brews the tea, and you sweeten it up. That was some of the best tea that we ever had. So whenever I do stuff like this, it really sort of brings me back to that moment where I used to have sun tea growing up, right? That's what food does. So let's see. I don't want to make a mess. Let's see if I can do it. There you go. All right, just like that. All right, we got our sweet tea action going on. Now, along with the sweet tea, we got to get a little bit of citrus, right? So I like whatever you got. Lemons and limes do wonders for me. So I'm just going to come in here and chop up some lemons and limes and get the juice squeezed in, all right? Because that's what sangria is. Sangria is normally wine with some flavorings, things like that, right? And some juice. I'm using my fork because I want to get in here and fork the limes really good to get all of the citrus out. All the pulpy stuff, you paid for it, right? You might as well get it out. So get in here with a fork. That's a really great tip, right? So whenever you got citrus and you're really trying to get in here, you don't have one of those fancy doodads that they sell. It's all right. All right, get an old-fashioned fork. All right, get in here and fork your limes. You want to fork your lemons, and you want to get all the juice out that you can. I'll tell you, sangria is great all the time. It's great for like a brunch idea. If you had a hard day at the office, a glass of refreshing sangria is really, really good. I was in Chicago recently hanging out with some friends of mine, and there's a grocery store in Chicago, actually, and they sell wine. You can walk around the store and have your wine. Who knew this even existed? So one Saturday, after we went to brunch, we ended up at the grocery store, and we got some wine, we got some ice, we got some fruit, and here we are in the grocery store walking around having sangria, all right, at the grocery store. Who knew this stuff even existed, all right? So I love making sangria because it takes me back to really great moments like that. All right, so I got our citrus in. I'm using a white wine for this, right? So this is what is this? This is a Chardonnay, but any white wine will work, right? If you like a Moscato, you can certainly go with that. If you like a Sauvignon Blanc, you can certainly go along with that, whatever you like. All right, so this is looking pretty good, I gotta say. We're gonna make it look even better with a couple of splashes, okay, of Bacardi Limon, all right? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's gotta be. So you do as little or as much as you prefer, okay? So this is good. You know, we're sort of getting there. This is like a grown-up version of sweet tea. I'm gonna grab some ice, right, from the freezer, and then I've got some fruit as well. All right, so I'm just grabbing a couple of handfuls of ice. And I got regular frozen fruit, right from the grocery store, right in your freezer section. Get in here and dump it in, whatever kind you like. This is a tropical blend, so it's got kiwis and pineapples, and I'm using it frozen because it's going to really help keep everything nice and cold, all right? I'm going to get down there. And you know what time it is. Don't act like you don't know. All right, get in here and give this a stir. I'm so excited to try this. It's a grown-up version of sweet tea. It's a sweet tea sangria. All right, let's go for a taste. All right, so excited to try this. Here we go. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. That lemon and lime juice really makes it. It's nice and crisp from the wine. It's not too sweet. You can go overboard, but this is perfect. It really is sort of a nice version of sweet tea. And what's going to be fantastic with this is that Bacardi Limon. I mean, it really sort of lends itself really, really well with the backdrops for that. So that's really, really good. Wow. All right. Next thing is we got to get started making the roasted sweet potatoes, right? Because part of this is we're going to do some grits. All right, I'm going to show you how to make some grits. And on top of the grits, we're going to do some nice, decorative stuff. But then underneath the grits, we're also going to do these braised short ribs that are going to be really, really good. So I'll show you how to get to all that. But this has to cook the longest, right? So I'm going to show you what we do to get this started. Real simple. I've got some aluminum foil right here, regular tin foil, right? I've got my yams, all right? Get a nice size yam, nothing too small, nothing too big, but a nice size yam, right? And I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the first one, right? And then I'm gonna massage it in. Got a little salt and a little pepper that I'm gonna put on my yams, because I don't know about you, but where I got these from, they didn't come seasoned, right? So I want to get these nice and seasoned, and then I'm just going to package it up just like that, right? Real nice, sort of airtight, so that nothing can escape. Because really, this is going to go in the oven, and this is going to roast. And what happens sometimes is that inside the sweet potatoes, they have a lot of sugar. And sometimes the sugar will come out while it's cooking, get in the bottom of the oven. You don't want that to happen. So you want to wrap it really tight. Here's my second one. Just like this, okay? A little olive oil, a little salt, a little pepper. Now, these will be good just like this once you roast them, but I'm gonna make them even better because I've got the grits that we're gonna cook with the mascarpone cheese and a little bit of butter and some heavy cream. It's going to be fantastic. All right, right into our oven. Our oven is already at 400 degrees. That goes right in, and those are going to roast, and those are going to be absolutely fantastic. All right, so while we're cooking and while we're whipping everything up, let's talk about a really great side dish. One of the things I love are Brussels sprouts, right? It's like the new thing all of a sudden, and you can do it so many ways with, all these fill-ins and all this really great stuff. So I'm gonna roast mine really simply after I take another sip of my sangria. This is so good. I'll leave this right here so we can work on this for the next hour. What was I saying? Oh, Brussels sprouts. I'm going to roast mine really simply, right? And I'm going to show you how to do that with some balsamic vinegar and whatnot. All right, so I got to get something on here because if I put these right on here and roast them in the oven, what will happen is that they'll stick, and we don't want that, right? So I'm going to use parchment paper, but here's a really cool trick. So a little bit of water right on here first, all right? And then what we do is we take a parchment paper, and it'll help adhere, and it'll help it stick so that we don't have any stickage, all right? Because one thing we don't want to have is we do not want to have stickage when this happens, okay? So I've got Brussels sprouts here that I just went ahead and washed, right? And then cleaned off and then quartered. So let me show you how to do it. I got a couple left so I can show you the process on how you do it. It's a real simple situation, and they have Brussels sprouts all over these days, right? At most grocery stores, so you should be all good. Let me show you how you do this. All right, so you come in here with the sprout, right? You cut off the tip just like that. All right. Now, if they're big, you can put them in quarters, but these are small guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and have these with no problem. All right. That's perfect. All right, so I'm going to come in here, have these right down the middle, just like that. All right. And if you don't like Brussels sprouts, because I can hear you now, I know the comments are going to come. I know people are going to hit me up on Instagram, and they're going to be like, what can I substitute for Brussels sprouts? Listen, give it a try. Like, try it this way, and I guarantee you might just like them. Like if you give them a try. It's one of the things I say. Like if you think you don't like something, try it one way, try it another way, and then you know what? You just may like it. And this is the same way I felt about avocados. I remember there was a time I wouldn't eat guacamole at all, but now every time I go to Chipotle, I get like 2 scoops. All right. So what I did was just put those in half, a little bit of olive oil, some salt, and some pepper, just like that, right? Now these don't come seasoned, so you got to season this stuff. Remember, we're creating all the layers of flavor, right? You create layers of flavor from the very beginning, you'll be all good, all right? Now get this, a little bit of sugar, because Brussels sprouts can be a little bitter. So what happens is the sugar really sort of helps with the bitterness. All right, and then the last thing is just our balsamic vinegar, right? So I'm just gonna throw it on. And I know you're saying balsamic vinegar, like I don't understand. Well, what happens is that when balsamic vinegar cooks, it turns sweet. So it's gonna help with the sweetness factor and make our Brussels sprouts really, really, really yummy. All right. Now I got clean hands, and I want to get in here and get these tossed around. And listen, that's it. This is great for date night, but I'm telling you, if you are in a rush and you're coming home from work, like many of us do, and on the weekdays, you need something to just throw together really quick, but you want it to be quick and you want it to taste good, I got to tell you, those roasted Brussels sprouts are the way to go. All right. Now, these go in the oven. Same temp that our sweet potatoes are on. I got it blasting at 400. So that goes right in, and listen, we're all good to go. That is going to be some good eating. Like this is some good drinking, huh? It's refreshing. And the longer this sits, the better it's going to be. And here's a trick. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Just don't do it. Sometimes you go to work the next day, and work is stressful, The fruit that's in here, package it up, put it in a Tupperware bowl, take it to work. Your boss get on your nerve, eat you a little piece of fruit. They got a little wine mixed in, a little Bacardi rum mixed in. I'm telling you, it makes the day go and fly by. You'll never know. All right. So our grits are on, and I want to get us started on the next piece, which is really going to be our short ribs. All right. So I got some short ribs in the fridge that I'm going to get out, and you should really try to use really good short ribs, right? And I'll show you what I mean when I say good short ribs. You want something that's nice, bright red in color. You want something that really looks good. They got a really nice fat content. And I like using these meaty guys like this here. See, this to me is what a good short rib is all about. It's got a lot of connective tissues. It's going to cook down, and it's going to be super tender, and it's going to be super delicious too, right? So look at those short ribs. Look how they look, right? I don't have any of the black bone situation happening, so I know these are nice and fresh for me, and they're going to be really good. I'm cooking these in my cast iron skillet before I get them off in the oven, right? So let me show you what we do with these. You're just going to season them really simply, liberally but simply, with salt and pepper for our short ribs. I swear this reminds me of growing up. My grandmother, we used to love having meals after church on Sundays, and what would happen is my grandmother would cook dinner Saturday night. And so I used to live with her, and as she would cook on Saturday night, the house would just smell like Thanksgiving every single week. So she didn't know this, or she probably did know. But what I used to do is, when she used to make short ribs, sometimes I would just go in and grab me a little piece of short rib once they got done on Saturday nights. I know I wasn't supposed to, right? I've got to wait until Sunday after church, but when food smells this great, I mean, come on, all right? Now, I got salt and pepper on these liberally, because what's going to happen is we're going to saute these. One sip. So good. We're going to saute these and really crust them up real good, right? So I've got some vegetable oil, and I got a pan that's smoking hot, right? So I'm going to put the vegetable oil in, just like this. And our short ribs are going to go in. They're going to start to get seared off, right? Here we go. Just like that. And they're going to get brown and crusty and delicious. So I'm putting them down the seasoned side, right? And then I'm going to season the other side while these are cooking, because I want what's going to develop in the bottom of the pan. It's going to help me build this really great sauce. So it's going to be super fantastic, right? So those go in. And I mean, as soon as you put these down, you could already smell it. Like, we are in great territory, right? So these are down. I'm going to do the other side, right? So a little bit of pepper and then salt. Don't worry. I'm going to pull out the heavy guns in a minute for the sauce, right? Real nice and savory with a thyme and some bay leaf and whatnot. But for now, here we go. Salt and pepper, all right? So let those do their thing for a minute. Meanwhile, let's talk about these grits that we're going to make, all right? I want to get some water in. And what I really like doing is I like cooking grits in chicken stock. To me, that's just really fantastic. I love the way it tastes. It adds a special, extra something to the grits that really just lend itself really well. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in, and I'm going to cheat a little bit, okay? Let me check on our Brussels sprouts. Oh yeah, we're cooking. We are definitely cooking. I'm going to cheat just a little bit, because what I like to use are these, all right? This is one of my shortcuts, all right? These are little cubes, little bouillon cubes, right? You gotta be careful, because they do have a lot of salt in them, a lot of sodium content, but this is really great for when you don't have chicken stock readily available. So I'm going to drop in just 1 cube, because that's going to really give it a lot of good flavor to our short ribs and our grits, all right? Speaking of short ribs, let's work it out, all right, with all the extra stuff that's gonna go on our short ribs while I just, I might as well. I'm over here working. Please, you gotta try this. If you love sweet tea, sweet tea, lemonade mix half and half, you're gonna love that. That's some good stuff. All right, so I got a bowl. Let's talk about what I'm gonna throw in as some of the flavoring agents that's gonna help turn the sauce for our short ribs really, really luscious. All right, I'm gonna start with some celery. And I gotta tell you, I'm not a fan of celery raw, but there's something about when it's cooked, the flavor lends itself really, 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 really well. So I'm throwing in some celery. I think the recipe online calls for like carrots and onions and all that stuff. Really, it's about the things that you like. And I think that's what's so great about cooking is that you can sort of put in whatever floats your boat. You know what I mean? Whatever you like. So I've got an onion here. I'm using a sweet onion, a Vidalia onion, because it's going to give us some really great flavor. I think I want to just check on our short ribs. So see if we can get over here and get the short ribs. Oh yeah. Not quite ready to turn, but they're browning up super nicely. All right, let's start. And I'll let you know too. The thing about this process with short ribs is that what they'll do is they'll stick to the pan until they're ready to release themselves, right? That's typically what happens when you do proteins, right? You put it down, you don't touch it, and when it's ready to come up, it'll just release itself super easily. And the stuff that's left on the bottom is all the good stuff that you want to have, all right? So I'm chopping up some onion. Now, again, I'm using a Vidalia onion just because that's what I like to use. I love the sweetness that a Vidalia onion gives because it's all about textural contrast. It's about layers of flavor, things that hit your tongue in different ways. And so that's what I absolutely love, all right? Here we go. The other onion. Now, you could certainly use a red onion if you wanted to. You could use a regular Spanish onion, a yellow onion, or a white onion. So don't feel like you have to do exactly this process, but I think once you get the concept, you can certainly play around with it, all right? I'm using a bell pepper here. I've got a green. By all means, you got orange or yellow or any other color, knock yourself out with that. Just give it a nice chop. I don't want to chop them too fine because they're going to cook in the oven for a really, really long time. 3, 4, if you can, you want to go 5 hours on the short ribs, all right? I've got some potato. I think potatoes are great in this. You know why? Because you really want a nice, luscious sauce. Something that's nice and thick. And what potatoes will do is they will really allow that sauce to thicken up nicely and turn it into something that's velvety smooth, right? And that's going to be good. So potato goes here. Let's check on these short ribs. I think I'm going to give them a flip. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, that looks good. Look how nice and crusty brown these are. This is what we're going for, okay? This is exactly what you want. Oh yeah, that looks delicious. And I could already see little bits on the bottom of the pan. And this is going to be really good. That looks great. All right. Back to our potato. Here's our other potato that I'm just going to cut up. Now, listen, I'm using this combination of veggies, but like I do with most of my cooking, I mean, you really have an opportunity here to play around. You could use really whatever you want to go with, right? I think cooking is like that. Like whatever helps you, reminds you of, what you ate growing up. Just these combinations are what my mother used to cook all the time. I remember being in the house around Thanksgiving time, and I could smell these same flavors. So every time I do this, it reminds me of that. All right, there's our potato. Last one goes in. All right, cool. So potatoes are in, and last thing is I've got some parsnips, right? So to me, parsnips are like a spicy carrot, right? They got, you know, a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a bite. It's like almost if, let's see, if a potato and a, I guess, horseradish or turnip had a baby, it would be a parsnip, right? So you just come in here and just peel them off the same way you would do a carrot. That's the first one. I'm just going to do two here. And then I'm going to come in here and give these a nice chop. Again, I don't want to go too fine with these because I want them to hold some of their integrity and some of their flavor. All right, there we go. Last one goes in, and I go for another sip. I'm telling you, that sweet tea sangria is so good. All right, we're gonna get everything cleaned up. Now, our short ribs are gonna come out of the pan, right? But the idea here is I wanna do everything in the same pan for these short ribs because I've already got really, really great flavor already developed, and I don't wanna lose that flavor that I've already got in those short ribs, okay? So here we go. Let's take these out. Oh yeah, this is what you want. Brown, crusty, delicious. We've just locked in so much flavor with these short ribs. Look at that. Come on. Does it not look good or what? Now you just saw me do that, right? Super easy to do. Crusty, brown, right? Nice and locked in all that good flavor. All these vegetables, these veggies have to go in here, and we're gonna saute. Oh yeah. We're gonna saute the veggies just for a second. And as soon as the onions hit the oil, oh man, it smells so good. A little bit of salt and pepper is gonna go in here. Not too much. Okay? And as I do this, I want to try to scrape the bottom of the pan because in that pan is really where you're going to get all that luscious flavor that's sort of right down there, right? Just like that. Just a little bit. Now, I'm going to deglaze this in a second, but the next process is really, really crucial. Got some escapees over here. The next process is really, really crucial. I've got some tomato paste. Tomato paste is going to add depth. It's going to add body. It's going to add a really great mouthfeel to our sauce too. So a little bit of tomato paste goes in, about a tablespoon and a half. And the idea is just to saute it and get it really well incorporated, just like this, okay? And I'm ready to add our wine. So any sort of red wine, your favorite will work, okay? I think the rule of thumb for me is always something that's good. It's not too expensive, and it's not sort of super, super cheap. Something that you would drink out of, you want to cook with, okay? Like this. I tell you, so good. All right, let's do this. Now, the idea of deglazing is as soon as you drop this down, you want to start scraping the bottom of the pan. Oh yeah. Look at this. This looks so good. I really want you to see that. It smells great. It looks great. This is exactly what we're going for, all right? Now, let me show you how we finish this off. So our short ribs are here, and they still got some more cooking to do. They got a lot of cooking to do, as a matter of fact. But this is gonna help it out. You take these vegetables, okay, and you throw these vegetables right on top, just like that. Okay? Look at that. That's gonna be good. All right, I'm gonna season that up a little bit more and give it a little bit more love, a little bit more juice. But let's get to these grits, because I want these grits to do some good cooking for me. Okay? Let me show you how we do this. So let me open up our bag of grits. And I am using the instant grits. It's totally okay because we're gonna do enough playing around with the grits so that we give them some really great flavor. So our grits go in to our chicken stock that's already cooking. And we're gonna keep this stirring. You know how grits are, right? Grits can be one of those things where you walk away from it too much and you just screwed up, okay? So I'm gonna stir, and I'm gonna come back and keep stirring occasionally. Now, my method for cooking grits is a little bit different. I think if you go to DariusCooks.com, there is a recipe there that talks about the grits. The idea that I like to do though with these grits is I like to get them nice and thick to the point where they're super thick and almost like inedible thick, because then it's gonna absorb the accoutrement. It's gonna absorb the mascarpone cheese, it's gonna absorb the butter, and it's gonna absorb the heavy cream as well, all right? So our grits are gonna do great things, and we're just gonna come back and keep stirring these ever so often, all right? Just like that. As a matter of fact, you could stir and sip. Stir and sip, okay? I'm telling you, it's so fresh. It's almost like, I don't know, it's just like summertime, like a stressful week. Like every sip I take, every problem is just like floating away. Okay, these are super thick. So I'm gonna cut this down a little bit. Now let's fortify the flavorings on a short rib. Short ribs are good, right? But I'm gonna throw a little bit more action in here. I got some dried Italian seasoning that has all these herbs in it. It's the basil, it's the thyme, it's the oregano, the savory. It's already there. The other thing we throw in is we throw in a couple of bay leaves for that long, low and slow taste that short ribs give us. Okay? I hear our grits singing over here. They're singing to me, and I don't want them to burn, so I'm just gonna keep stirring ever so often. And these are the quick cooking grits. You can certainly cheat with these, okay? I know I like to do everything traditional, but listen, knock yourself out with these. All right, look at this. They're gonna get super thick on us, and we're gonna make them taste amazing. All right, so a little bit of garlic powder is gonna go in, granulated garlic, right on top of these. And then I'm gonna throw in some granulated onion as well. All right, and then I got a couple of garlic cloves I'm just gonna smash right into here. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more wine to this because what we added just wasn't enough for me. And then I'm gonna get it on. Now again with the wine, I'm using my favorite red wine. This is a Cabernet, but listen, if you have a Merlot, you can certainly use that. Whatever red wines you want. You have a Malbec, you can certainly go ahead and use that as well, all right? Again, it's all about flavor for me. So whatever brings you the most flavor and whatever you enjoy the most, you certainly use that. Now I can tell you, my grandmother made short ribs all the time, but she wasn't braising them in red wine, okay? I know she wasn't, but you can certainly do that. And the good thing about food is it takes you back to that place where you feel great, you feel amazing, and it reminds you of so many great memories. The smells in the house smell fantastic, so we're good to go. All right, here is my Malbec A little bit more of that right on top. The idea with braising is you want to go right up the side, right? I don't want to completely submerge our short ribs in that, but I do want to give them enough so they have some room to absorb. So look at that, right? Right up the side halfway. And then the last thing is simple. I got my oven on. I'm going to cover these bad boys up and let them go. One last peek. You see that? Get in good with that. That's how it's going to look. Get these covered, airtight, and put these off in the oven about 4 hours. Don't touch them. They'll be good to go. I promise you. Okay. All right. Look at our grits. Let me show you what I'm talking about with the grits. We're not even there yet, but we're halfway. Right. When you do the grits, you want them creamy. Okay. Creamy. Nice and thick. We got a little bit more to go with these before we add in the good stuff. All right. Speaking of good stuff, why not? All right. Let's talk about dessert just for a moment. That's what I want to show you. So I'm going to put some water right in here. And I'm going to make a double boiler because I want to get our fondue going, okay? And the way you do fondue is really, really simple. So I got a little bit of water in here, right? A little water in here. And I got a bowl. Now, I don't want the bowl to touch the bottom of the water because I don't want to scorch our chocolate. I got some sweet I'm going to throw in here. Oh yeah, to get that going. Now this is for our chocolate and caramel fondue. Obviously this is the chocolate part. And I'm going to make the caramel in a second. But that already looks good, doesn't it? Look at that. I mean, look at that chocolate. This is going to be so good. All right. So I want the chocolate to really start to melt. And the way we do that is with a double boiler. As the heat and the steam from the water comes up, what will happen is that it'll start to melt the chocolate, and we're going to be in really, really, really good territory. Meanwhile, let's sip. And stir. All right. I want these to get thick. Look at this. Let me show you. I want you to see every step of the way. We're almost there. Not quite, but almost. I mean, I want them to be so thick that they almost seize up on us. Okay? Speaking of seizing up, what I'm going to do now is I want to get our caramel going because this is the chocolate part. We can work on the caramel and get things wrapped up. All right? So I've got brown sugar here, and I've got 2 sticks of butter. So into a saucepan, I'm going to make caramel from scratch. I know. And then what we're going to do to finish off our dessert is we're actually going to swirl the caramel into the chocolate. It's going to be so good. And we've got really great things to dip into our fondue. Because again, it's date night, right? So you don't want something that's going to bog you down, but you want something that's going to be really, really fantastic. So 2 sticks of butter, go on, and we're good to go. Let's get a look at this again. See, look, here we go. We're getting very, very close. See that? See how thick those are? That's what I'm going for. All right? Almost there. Just a little bit longer. And you really want to get in here and get it stirred up. Meanwhile, let's talk about our short ribs. Now, I've got some short ribs that have been cooking for a while because, you know, I don't have 4 hours to waste to show you how to do that. But these short ribs can actually come out of the oven. There's one process to this, though, I do want to talk you through. So if you're taking notes, I'll show you how we do it. But let me reveal to you. No, let me tell you first. That's what we'll do. I'll tell you first. I'll keep you in suspense. These cooked for 3.5 hours. The oven temperature was 350 degrees, okay? After 3.5 hours, I took a ladle. I skimmed off the fat, right, that rose to the top for our short ribs, okay? Then what I did was I did a cornstarch slurry. Let me show you what it is. It's simple, very, very simple, all right? I've got my cornstarch, so I'm gonna take a spoonful of cornstarch, just like that. I'm also gonna put in equal parts water, cold water, and I'm gonna stir it together. This is what we call a cornstarch slurry, or a thickening agent, okay? This is what is really gonna help us thicken up the sauce, okay? So I skimmed the fat off, added my cornstarch slurry, and I added a little bit of chicken stock or beef stock. That's what I did because I want a nice, luscious sauce, okay? So the next hour, you put this back in, covered up with the cornstarch slurry, with the sauce, and you come up with something that looks like this, okay? Let me tell you something. This is the real deal Holyfield, okay? Look at those short ribs. Look how amazing they look. Look how thick and luscious this sauce is. You see those parsnips? They've taken on that really great color. Let me tell you something. This is a short rib, okay? This is a short rib you can be proud of, all right? This is a short rib you can certainly be proud of. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get a taste because it's calling my name. You see, it's hot. It's smoking. Here we go. Let me tell you something. You gotta try this. That wine has soaked in those short ribs, the herbaceousness of the bay leaf, the chicken stock, the sauce is perfect. This is what a short rib should be, and that is some good eating. And we cooked it low and slow for all that time. This is gonna be really good. All right. Home stretch, y'all. Home stretch. That is some good eating. All right, here we go. A little bit more of our sangria, just because. Right. Brown sugar time. So our butter. Remember, our butter is on for our caramel sauce, right? So I'm dropping in 2 sticks of butter and about 2 cups of brown sugar to make the caramel. All right. Let me show you how this looks after I get it all incorporated. Meanwhile, don't forget our grits now. You got to stir those. Let me show you this. This is our brown sugar and our butter. You just keep going with this. You let it cook. You let it incorporate. And we're going to turn this into some good caramel. All right? Let's talk about our grits for a second. Because I think we've achieved thickosity. Okay? I think we've achieved the level of thickness that I think our grits should really be at. I'm excited about this. Okay? I really am. Roasted sweet potato grits? Like, who ever heard of those before? Look how thick these are. Okay? This is thick like I can't eat that thick. Like Darius. We went too far. We screwed up. We did it. Okay? Now, remember those sweet potatoes that we roasted off? I've got some right here. Let me show you this. Look how they look. Once you roast them off, they're perfect. Get them out that little tin foil. All right, these have cooled, so we can just go ahead and peel the skins off. They come right off. Look at that. And I'm going to dump the potato right into our grits. Look at that. See how perfectly bright that is? That's going to be some good eating, I'm telling you. Here's the other one. Skins, look at the skin. They come right off. You just dump them right in. Perfectly soft, ready to go. Meanwhile, I don't want our caramel to burn, so we're just going to come in and stir, stir, stir. Oh, that's going to be good. All right, keep an eye on that. Out of the fridge, I want to grab some mascarpone cheese, and I've got some butter, because I really want to juice these up and make these amazing. So I'm going to put just a little bit of butter in, not a whole lot. All right, and then I've got mascarpone cheese here. That's going to go in. A couple of spoonfuls of that. And now mascarpone cheese is like an Italian cream cheese. So it's a little bit sweeter than a normal cream cheese. Is not as tart, but the flavor is dynamite. It's impeccable. All right, let's see what we get with just this. And if we need to add a little bit of heavy cream, we will. All right, so the idea is just to come in and stir this completely up. And I smell those sweet potatoes. And if you are a candied yam fan, I think you will absolutely love this. All right, see, I'm going to add just a little heavy cream because these are still thick, but I want them nice and creamy. So a little heavy cream is going to give us exactly what we want to see. Here we go. Look at that. Oh, gosh. Here we go. I'm just going to stir these together. This was easy to do. Remember, all we did was start with the chicken stock. I'm using instant grits, all right? So you don't have to do the old-fashioned. I mean, you could if you want to, but you don't have to. We just went ahead and roasted off those sweet potatoes. That was a super, super, super easy thing to do. And then after we roast off the sweet potatoes, we add them in. A little bit of mascarpone cheese. Very simple, right? A little bit of butter. And I'm finishing with heavy cream because this is what I want to see, right? You think, oh my gosh, we took them too far. They're too thick. No, they're not. Look at that. That is perfect. All right, let me taste these to see where we are. I'm so excited about this. Here we go. Look at that. Look how creamy that is. I'm telling you, perfect. Hands down. One of the best grits recipes I've ever seen. All right, back on the stove, we keep warm. Here's our caramel. All right, it's doing great caramel things. While we have it out, I'm going to go ahead and add in some heavy cream to this. Be careful. And then I've got some vanilla extract that I'm going to add in as well. Look at that. It smells really good in here with this. Don't forget, in the oven right now, those Brussels sprouts, okay, and I could smell them. They're ready to come out. I'm going to get them out in a second. I'm going to add in just a little bit of vanilla, just like this. About a tablespoon or so, and give this a stir. Now, I would taste this, but I would burn the heck out of myself. So we'll chill out for a second. Let this hang out, but look at this. What do we have? We got a really amazing caramel sauce now. Just that simple. All right, you can do that. I trust you. I know you can follow those instructions and make that happen. All right, here we go. A little bit more of this. So good. With that Bacardi Limon, starting to feel it. Now the Brussels sprouts, you saw me do those, right? Real simple. A little bit of salt, pepper, balsamic vinegar. Look at those Brussels sprouts. Roasted to perfection. Hello. Okay. How simple was that? Literally just a few minutes, and look at what we've got. Perfectly roasted balsamic Brussels sprouts. that smell amazing. Let me get those into a bowl. Telling you, perfect date night. And you can do this not just for date night, but come home from a long day at work. You know, grab a rotisserie chicken if you want to. Cut up some Brussels sprouts. Season them really simply. All right, get them off in the oven. Jump in the shower. By the time you're done with your shower, dinner is on the table and ready to go. Remember the key here too. See, I don't have any stickage happening because I got those Brussels sprouts are sitting on that parchment paper, which really helps us in the long run. All right. So our sprouts are here. I'm going to get rid of this. And they're hot, but I want to give it a taste. Let's see if I can get in here and get one. Oh. Look at this part. It's crunched up. That sugar is caramelized really nicely. So good. So good. All right. Got our chocolate. I just want to make sure our chocolate's melting. You got to get a look at this. You got to see this. This is our dessert we're making. Look at our chocolate. You put it in. It's going to start to melt down. We're not burning anything. All right. We want to add some heavy cream to this to really help loosen it all up. That's not nearly enough in my opinion. So I'm going to add a little bit more heavy cream. And I want to show you how we're going to serve our fondue. A little bit more. Now remember, we already got that caramel we're going to toss in here. So you don't want to go overboard, but you do want to at least give you enough room to get in here and get it going. Just give us a stir. Get everything incorporated. And this is great too because this really can hold up for a while in the fridge. So once you're done with date night, you could have date night number 2, date night number 3, and you could continue on with this chocolate fondue. Oh yeah. Just gonna keep stirring it. All right, we're gonna get it back on the stove to finish. It'll be done shortly. And let's plate up those short ribs because they're calling my name. I want to show you how we're going to do that. I'm going to grab a bowl. And the first thing I'm going to put in the bottom of our bowl is some of these grits. Oh boy, sweet potato. Roasted sweet potato. Look at this. Come on, man. It doesn't get any better than that. Okay? Right on the bottom. Oh gosh. And isn't sweet potato like a superfood or something like that? So this is gonna be good. You can eat these all day long. Oh boy. All right, this is warm. So I want to get the short ribs up. That's next. Let's put those. Grab some good ones. I'm telling you, they're so super soft and super tender. And the juice from being on the bone is just fan-freaking-tastic. Look at that. Oh, gosh. And we worked so hard on this sauce. So I want to try to get in here and get some of this sauce out, right? With those herbs and the bay leaf, the parsnip. If you're going to use carrots or potatoes or whatever you got, that's the good part about it, right? Remember how we started? We just seared it off on the stove, and then we deglazed the pan with a little bit of that red wine and put them off in the oven. Let them go for as long as you can. It's going to be so good, all right? I like to finish mine off real simple. A little bit of crispy onion for a little textural contrast. Right on top. And then remember those short ribs? They need a little something to go with them. So I'm going to throw some of our Brussels sprouts right on top. Just like that. All right. You know what time it is? I know we're live. No, it's not 11:55 a.m. Eastern. It's time to taste these short ribs with the grits, the crispy onion, the Brussels sprouts, the short rib. Oh, boy. Here we go. This is a tough job. Somebody has to do it. I gotta tell you, it doesn't get better than this. It really doesn't. The creamy from the grits, the tang from the Brussels sprouts, the savoriness from the short ribs. I get hints of that white wine in the background. This is so good. Oh my God. It's so good. All right. Talk about dessert. Yes, dessert. Real simple. All right. Not complicated. Not fussy. Things you could dip and feed your boo. He could dip and feed you too. All right. I've got some cookies here. These are some of my faves. Shortbread cookies. You want to think about things that look good and taste good when you dip them in your chocolate sauce, your fondue. And if you get lucky, after dinner, you can take your chocolate sauce to the bedroom and have fun with that. All right. So there are shortbread cookies. I've got a couple more. These are some Bordeaux. I love these. Very simple. Right like that. I've also got some pound cake. Pound cake. No pun intended. That I'm going to throw in as well. So a couple pieces of that. Whatever you like, really, at this point. You know, things that go well dipped in chocolate. You can certainly arrange those any kind of way. I've got some strawberries, a couple pieces of fruit I'm going to put on here. And I'm just going to stir caramel in. And listen, you have a complete date night meal that is going to be fantastic. In the fridge are our strawberries. Those are going to go right here in the middle. Okay, look at that. Now let's finish up. Oh boy, this is going to be great. Look at our chocolate. Our chocolate just needs to get stirred up just like that. It's super melty and super good. Now remember that caramel sauce, right? Let's not forget that, because that also has to go in, and we have to swirl that around. Look at that. Oh. Oh boy. All right, let me give that a stir. Now look at this. Make it nice and smooth. And you've got your caramel. You've got your chocolate fondue. How easy was this to make? I like to throw a little bit of vanilla extract in right at the end to bump up that good flavor. And then you know we got to taste this, right? We got to go for it. All right, here we go. Here's the bowl. And watch this. Here's our chocolate and caramel fondue. Look at that. Oh, yeah. That's good. Remember, that was easy to do. You start that by putting it on the double boiler. I just dropped in some semi-sweet chocolate morsels, a little bit of heavy cream, I made the caramel. The caramel was super easy to do. It was just those 2 sticks of butter, the brown sugar. Oh boy, a little bit of vanilla, some heavy cream. Swirl the 2 together. You got chocolate caramel fondue. It doesn't get any better than this. Mm. Oh my god. So good. Let's do a strawberry. Here we go. Look at that. Beautiful. I wish you could taste this. So good. Listen, everything we did today was super easy, super fantastic. A couple of ingredients, and you got a meal like this. This is gonna be so good. You gotta give it a try. The recipes, the videos, so much more. You know where to find them. I mean, it's on DariusCooks.com. All right. You gotta follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Darius Cooks. 2 things I gotta tell you. All right. Food is my life. Life is my food. Until next time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I had a blast doing all of this. Until next time, I gotta wish you happy cooking. From my heart to yours. See you guys next time.